Well, speaking of solutions, let's shift gears for a second because we've been focusing on airlines and airports. There are those who would argue, and I think you'd be one of them, that the people who would practice terrorism don't go after the path of most resistance, they go after the path of least, which leads me to the title of hotel security. To me, a hotel is a phenomenal soft target for terrorism. Unattended bags in the lobby, easy entrance to the lobby, parking cars right in front of the lobby. And hotel security, the model of hotel security has always been, to look out for maybe prostitutes or somebody pickpocketing, but not necessarily the model of a dedicated terrorist.
Even in hotels that do have a real proactive program vis-a-vis terrorism, like the Marriott in Indonesia, even they get hit.
Yeah.
It's an enormous, enormous challenge. And how does one balance the role of a hotel to be welcoming? When you think of the Hilton chain, what do you think of? You think of hospitality. That's
Sure.
how we think of them. That's how they think of themselves.
Well, see, I had a couple of ideas. Here's one. When you check, you can do metal detectors or the magnetometers, if you will, in a very, subtle way, because you have to walk through a lobby anyway. And the second thing is the minute you get there, a bellman takes your bag before you get there and takes it around, going to deliver the bags to them anyway, and they put them through a scanning machine. Well, that seems pretty simple.
What do you do about the car bomb?
What you do about the car bomb?
What do you do about the car bomb?
Is you exact a perimeter around the hotel, which basically says, unless you're pre-authorized to enter, you get out of there and you take a shuttle bus in.
That is going to be a huge interruption.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of pushback from mid-level hotels, but an enormous amount of pushback from Four Seasons and the Ritz-Carlton.
Sure. And yet, who got hit in Indonesia?
Marriott.
Ritz-Carlton too.
It raises the question of what's the role of American multinationals in branding their hotels abroad. And
Because they become bigger targets.
Yes, and it raises the question of where should one stay? What's the safest venue, and is it safer to stay in a hotel which is flagged from either a European or Middle Eastern brand?
Well, one of the things we did earlier this year on CBS is we found a company that actually developed, tested, and basically succeeded in developing a blast-proof wallpaper, blast-proof lobbies. We actually saw the test where they detonated a huge bomb, and you see the wall kind of expand and come back. It was amazing, right? Now, they developed it not because of hotel interest. They developed it because of military interest, because of the barracks attack in Saudi Arabia, where a lot of people lost their lives. But they perfected it.
And in Lebanon.
And in Lebanon as well. They have perfected it. It's on the market. And I asked them, how many hotels have asked about it? None.
Look, I'm not surprised. I think the focus of hotel security should be at this point towards individual travelers. I'm stuck. I'm going to Bangkok. What do I do? And so the advice is reduce the amount of time that you have in the public spaces. Because if you look at the Mumbai attack, most people died in restaurants and bars and other areas of public congregation. Not all of them. So don't meet people in the lobby. Don't have dinner in the restaurant, or have dinner in the restaurant which is in the back of the hotel. Choose your rooms carefully.
What kind of rooms?
Generally rooms that are above the second floor and either below the 7th or the 8th floor. If there's a fire, very, very difficult to get out if you're above the 7th or 8th floor.
Well, I know that as a fireman.
That's true.
Right.
And then also rooms which don't have exposure to the main means of ingress to the hotel, because if there is a car bomb, you don't want to have that glass shard exposure.
So your room better not be over the lobby.
Your room better not be over the lobby. So it's difficult. Optimally, I'd like rooms facing the courtyard, right? But then if you're in a fire in the courtyard, it's pretty hard to get that aerial ladder, inside the courtyard. So the other things that one should do, you have to think from an all risks approach.
Yeah.
Is to have a pretty good situational awareness, know how you're going to be able to evacuate, know where the 2 stairwells are, have a smoke mask, have a really good flashlight with you, evacuate quickly, and but try to reduce that glass exposure.
But what about staff training themselves? Meaning, there's not a hotel. We're in New York right now. There's not a hotel in the city that I couldn't walk into today with a bag full of explosives and tip the bellman $5 to store it for me.
That's entirely true. And then you have to think, what's the yield going to be of that explosion? So the yield is going to be, a few deaths. The real yield is going to be economic.
Yes. It's
going to be, oh my goodness, this environment is no longer safe.
Well, certainly they've done the metrics. They know what their liability is financially in a situation like that. Why wouldn't they train their staff that if you're not a registered guest at the hotel, just for starters, you can't check a bag?
I think that hotels are so much about logistics. Hotels are so much about getting people in and out efficiently, and that issue of who are you? How do I know you're who
Yeah.
you say you are? So, for every 10 people who actually have their room key and are registered guests, or are people who are checking out but they were registered, there are going to be 2 or 3 who they're not registered. They don't have their key. Their husband has their key. They just checked out. They left their key card
Okay.
in the box, and that creates a ripple effect. Particularly at the Hilton on 6th Avenue. Imagine that problem arising at about 8:45. I'm leaving for a meeting. I don't have my card key. I just
Yeah.
spent $400 for a room here. Take the bag. Do
Right.
it now. And then you take a look at the employee pool of who's serving as bellhops and housekeepers and others. I don't. I'm dubious of the idea that we can deputize each and every person
Sure.
in every occupational category to be an extra set of security eyes and ears.
So, not to put words in your mouth, are you telling me not to stay at an American branded hotel overseas?
I'm saying in certain circumstances it may be safer to stay in a hotel branded from either European or other chain, or not to stay in a very large hotel, to stay in a hotel which, because of its size,
Is not so
because
much of a
it's out
target.
way, yeah, a little boutique hotel. I think that those hotels may be much more appealing, and also the smaller the hotel, the less likelihood you have of the standard sort of hotel risk, the less issues of prostitution, of pickpocketing, of people trying to break into rooms, issues like that. I think that's reduced in
No, you'll
smaller
end up with a boutique
hotels.
terrorist. He'll be color coordinated, very stylish. No, you don't think so?
But it's got low yield.
Low yield, okay.
and it's not nearly as meaningful as knocking off a Marriott or a Hilton.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as meaningful, and it's an enormous challenge for American hotel firms how to secure their facilities. And actually, some of I think the smartest people in this space among large companies are the heads of security of these large hotel chains,
Sure.
because it's an intractable problem.